This dilemma involves a 5-year-old patient presenting to the emergency department in respiratory distress. The physician ordered the patient to be transferred via helicopter to a pediatric critical care unit at another facility. The mother began to cry when she was told due to weight constrictions and liability, parents are not allowed to accompany children during transfer. She called everyone in her family and no one would give her a ride. When the nurse was giving a report to the new hospital, they gave her a phone number to call to help set up transportation for the mother. As she began to dial the number, the charge nurse intervened and stated it was not the responsibility of the emergency department or of the nurse to get people rides and to get back to work. How do you respond? According to the American Association of Critical Nurses, moral distress is when you act in a manner contrary to your personal and professional values, which undermines your integrity. This is a true ethical dilemma. The nurse knew what to do, but management was constraining the nurse from being a true patient advocate. The charge nurse was demanding the nurse to act contrary to her integrity. According to the American Nurses Association, beneficence is compassion, taking positive action to help others, desiring to be good. It is the core principle of patient advocacy. Fidelity is the principle that requires loyalty, fairness, truthfulness, and advocacy, and dedication to our patients. It involves an agreement to keep our promises. Fidelity refers to the concept of keeping commitment and is based upon the virtue of caring. Who are the stakeholders in this case? That would be the patient, the nurse treating the patient, the family member, the respiratory technician, the charge nurse, the treating physician, the department manager, the patient advocate, quality control and risk management review boards, and the medical director of the ED. Everyone has a stake in the outcome. This dilemma could have several courses of action. The first one, the nurse was already at the nurse's station, so she could just take care of the transportation issue right then and there. There are other courses of action that the nurse could have taken. One, she could have went back into the patient room and told them exactly what the charge nurse said. However, this would make the hospital look bad. She could have took the time to get in a heated disagreement with the charge nurse at the nurse's station, but really the patient was critical and she needed to get back to the patient. After leaving the nurse's station, the nurse went back to the patient family and gave them the number to call to set up for transportation. The mother was getting confused, so the nurse motioned for her to give her her phone. The nurse finished up the conversation and took care of the transportation for the mother. Outside the room, the charge nurse was listening and motioned for the nurse to come outside the room. She told her that she was going to write her up for disobeying her. Morally, this was the best choice. How could the nurse just stand there and do nothing? Could she just let the hospital be seen in such a bad light just because of one person's bad attitude? No. Sometimes you have to work as a team regardless of what is going on behind the scenes. In a systematic review titled How Professional Nurses Working in Hospital Environments Experience Moral Distress, Rittenmeyer and Huffman stated that moral distress is experienced when nurses feel the need to advocate for patients' well-being while coping with institutional constraints. Unequal power structure prevalent in institutions exacerbates the problem. Feelings of moral distress were experienced when nurses saw others devaluing the wishes of patients and families. In the implications for practice, they state, in order to mitigate the effects of moral distress, institutions need to design structures of support for nurses that provide education on the effects of moral distress, give nurses authentic voice in expressing ethical concerns, and allow them to practice nursing in a way that does not violate their core professional values. To support ethical decision-making, The theory of deontology by Immanuel Kant states that each person is self-legislating, autonomous, and having the ability to know moral laws and freedom, and to decide to act morally. Kant also states that each person has dignity and deserves respect, and there are rules that people ought to follow. Parse's theory of becoming states the nurse's goal is to truly be present with people to enhance their quality of life. The nurse is fully present, focused in the moment, entering the other's world as a not knowing stranger, joining their reality without labeling or judging. In this dilemma, the nurse was truly focused in the patient moment, trying to help the patient remain calm by helping the mother secure transportation without judging.